A recently published study found that microplastics end up in our carotid artery plaque. And I wanted to share a follow-up study on that was published in January of this year by scientists at UC Irvine, finding the concentrations of micro and nanoplastic in water in plastic bottles. I think this is really important because many people are still drinking out of water bottles, that they buy at the grocery store, on the job site, or drinking on airplanes or traveling. And I would discourage you, I want to dissuade you from drinking out of plastic and eating food wrapped in plastic. Because as this recently published analysis found, there are 240,000 particles of nano and microplastic housed in water that's delivered in plastic water bottles. The title of this analysis, again by scientists at UC Irvine, is titled Rapid Single Particle Chemical Imaging of Nanoplastics by SRS Microscopy. And these investigators wanted to see just how much micro and nanoplastic is found in drinking water that is stored in plastic bottles. Now, again, if you go to third world countries, if you are on an airplane and you ask for water, they are pouring it out of a plastic bottle. Now, the downside of this plastic is it's very thin and it can off-gas microplastics that end up in your drinking water, in your body, and might possibly be stored in your arteries, decreasing vascular elasticity, increasing vascular stiffness, contributing to erectile dysfunction, possibly high blood pressure. We don't even know what effects microplastic consumption is having on our brain, contributing to beta amyloid plaque formation, peripheral vascular disease. The list goes on. Moreover, micro and nanoplastics have endocrine disrupting properties, meaning they affect hormone signaling, testosterone, estrogen, possibly progesterone, and much more. So it's really important because these things are everywhere. It's almost impossible to avoid. We have plastic piping delivering us water. You're showering in this stuff, and let alone all of the processed packaged food and things like that is delivered in plastic wrapped containers and bottles. So it's important to acknowledge that this is not fear mongering. Okay. That study, I was not trying to scare you into thinking that this is some new boogeyman. It is a new harbinger of ill health and chronic non-communicable disease. Plastic exposure and endocrine disrupting chemicals are well recognized to exacerbate obesity, diabetes, and possibly now heart disease and endocrine issues. And so we now know every liter of water that is delivered in a plastic bottle releases some 240,000 nano and microplastic particles. And again, so if you're constantly exposed to this, it might be increasing your risk of developing a serious disease and possibly contributing to obesity, hormone issues, erectile dysfunction, depression. Who knows? The list goes on. But I just wanted to share this study with you here because I think it's really important that we all make volitional efforts to avoid plastic exposure. Now, what do you do? Let's say you're working, say construction or landscape, or you have an outdoor occupation where you're drinking out of bottles. Switch that to either glass or stainless steel. Invest in a stainless steel water bottle. We've been doing this in our household for several years. The water bottles that we bring hiking and camping and things like that, we just use them on a daily basis when we're out and about and, using a water filter. So one of the common questions in the comment section of that other video about atherosclerotic plaque and microplastic deposition was, what water filters can I purchase and invest in to possibly filter out nano and microplastics? Well, I think the best thing you can do is just avoid drinking out of plastic containers. These really thin polyethylene containers, those are problematic because it's so thin. The PVC piping, probably not that big of a deal. Is there some off-gassing? Maybe if you get a new home or there's some new plumbing in your home, let the water run for 5-10 minutes to get out some of that plastic debris possibly from newly manufactured pipes. But I don't know that there's a great filtration system that you can acquire in the home. What we use is a 2-stage carbon and resin filtration system from Custom Pure Water Sources here in the Seattle area. It's local to Washington State. It's best to work with a water filtration company to your local area because every area has different specific gravity of the water, and so there's different filters based upon where you live. For example, this filter would not be good in Los Angeles or California, where there's the water is quite heavy and more rich in minerals. And so I don't know if there's a great water filter to filter out microplastics, but avoiding Plastic water bottles, I think, is a great source. Trying to, if you get milk, for example, put it in a glass jar if it comes in a plastic container. Takeout, cook your food at home from scratch. Trying to not store hot food in plastic or stick a TV dinner in the microwave and heat it up in plastic. I think heat and plastic is a bad combination for your health. So that's the purpose of this video, is just to inspire you, to let you know that we're not fear-mongering. The data is real. Drinking water out of plastic bottles is going to be a top source of microplastic accumulation in your body. And there are known health challenges, and we now know that this is deposited in carotid artery plaque, at least, possibly and probably in coronary artery plaque. And that could lead to stiffened vessels, high blood pressure, endothelial dysfunction, erectile dysfunction, and cardiovascular diseases, as well as stroke. So not good stuff, my friends. So please go out there, invest in a glass jar or a stainless steel water bottle, and do the best that you can. And of course, sauna therapy is beneficial. Sweating, exercise, these are going to be highly beneficial to possibly excreting out these microplastic particles. So hopefully you enjoyed this content. Thank you as always for tuning all the way through and hitting that like button and sharing this video with a friend who may benefit from this. And we'll catch you on a future episode down the road.